Welcome to Creating a Better Brand Experience for Customers and Partners with PIM. And with me I have Ritesh Keskar and Keith Ryals from Perficient. Welcome to PIMpoint Digital.
Thank you, Mats. Happy to be here.
Great to have you here. And last year you were here, and then we talked about PIM as a foundational element of a digital strategy. Do you think that's still valid a year later? Ritesh, what do you say?
Yeah, absolutely it is. We've been marching down this path for a while, and thankfully we've had a chance to work on certain live use cases to even validate what we've been talking about. So I certainly think that is still the case. I think that will continue to be the case. It is a foundational element. We have to make sure we do it right, not just standing up the platform, but actually aligning from a business process perspective. And as we talk, even during implementations or even our strategy meetings, this is just a start. This is supposed to set the foundation, get the product data and product information in a place where it can be easily distributed, because there's a lot to do from that point for running a business. So we need the foundation right.
Keith, what do you say?
Yeah, and that's exactly right, Ritesh. And as you think about PIM as that foundational element, if you look at all the different resources and different systems within an organization that rely on that data, you can really see how those tentacles from PIM affect everything else within the organization, either inbound or outbound from that point. So we've seen that a lot in our particular integration that we're speaking with today with Stacy. She can probably speak a little bit to how her team is using that as part of her foundational strategy within Werner.
And speaking of Stacy, we do have her on this call, so let's give a warm welcome to Stacy Gardella from Werner.
Hey, thank you for having me. Yes, I'm Stacy Gardella. I head up our brand marketing team at Werner Co. We are a global manufacturer of safe access and secure storage solutions. We've got about 14 brands globally with distribution to over 100 countries. So we were in desperate need of a new and improved PIM system.
So why ultimately did you decide to choose inRiver as your PIM?
So we were looking to upgrade our existing environment to truly a best-in-class solution, and looking to host one source of truth for our global brands, and that the content would offer a quicker go-to-market strategy with improved data collaboration across our teams. We chose inRiver because of its true PIM flexible data model, and it's scalable for our growing business across many different product categories, but it still offers workflows and syndications, which was super important.
So aside from inRiver, what were some of the other systems Perficient integrated with PIM for Werner Co?
I'll take that. Thanks, Matt. That's a great question. As Stacy alluded to, I mean, Werner's a very large organization. They have a lot of complex data, a lot of BUs. They're in a lot of different countries, right? So as you can imagine, managing their brands and locales and the attributes to all of those products, it gets pretty complicated. So just to make sure we had a full picture of the data within the organization and putting a strategy around that, we did a number of implementations with a couple of their other systems, which were really, quite frankly, fractured. There was no central place for all that data to live, which is a big reason why PIM made a lot of sense for Stacy and her team. Some of those integrations included an integration with their digital asset management system, being able to have a good handle on images, JPEGs, assets, product images, along with like documentation and PDFs and things like that. To have those updated kind of in real time with the DAM system and PIM is really going to bring some velocity to what they're trying to do from a product standpoint. There's a couple other systems too that we did some integrations with to really keep that data refreshed, to keep it updated, and to have it in one place where a lot of other people within the organization can come and look at it and use it. We did an integration with our ERP system. As products get created and get brought online, those would propagate to the PIM as well. There's a CRM system that we've integrated with that also allows for that system from the PIM to go into those other systems so that it can be used from other pieces within the organization. There's a lot of syndication that we did, as Stacy mentioned too. That's a big part of their strategy moving forward. So there was integrations with other industry data like ACEs and PIs, and being able to propagate out to dealer portals, and CMS was another big piece of that integration pie, so to speak, to really bring all that data within the organization together into PIM. And then there was we also did a little bit of integration with Salesforce. I know Ritesh wanted to kind of touch base on that real quick.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. So it's important to note that as we were starting to talk about PIM being the foundation and then ease of distribution. So this is what I was hinting towards in the intro, saying, luckily we got a chance to actually be on that journey with Werner. So halfway in our journey of the PIM design and PIM implementation, we ended up running parallel tracks. And this is what Keith is talking about. While PIM was being put in place and the foundation was being set up, we also had the need to make sure that the product information is available for the dealer portal on the Salesforce platform. So that essentially kind of took us down the path of looking at ways to integrate, ease of integration, ease of finding that information in the platform. So search, and that basically helped like running parallel tracks. And the ultimate goal was for all of it to come together before we actually call it done or call it go live.
So, Stacy, out of all of these integrations that were made, was there one component in particular that you consider more valuable than others, and why?
I would suggest the integration with our branded websites was most important, our CMS system. For launch, we focused on 9 unique brands, no small task, across many product categories, and we needed to deliver that content to 16 different websites. So being able to automate and dynamically display product content, to integrate with our digital asset management system, so the inputs and the outputs and syndication to our CMS, I would suggest, was the most important for launch.
So a question to you, Keith, is integration is always a challenge, but was there any unique challenges with the integrations of any of the systems?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think every project that we take on has some unique challenges, right? I mean, every organization has its own kind of ecosystem, right? There were 3 that kind of come to mind. I know because of the size and the complexity around the Werner company and what they have. They have a large amounts of complex data and all the attributes and relationships that go along with it. It's really important to start with that foundational data model. So there were some challenges around, getting that right. We did a lot of cycles with our team and with the Werner team to make sure that there was a good understanding around what the data was doing currently and kind of what data was out there that we wanted to bring in that wasn't there that we could leverage. And, we were just looking for other opportunities to build on that foundation for that additional data to have that really be a central focus on the implementation of the PIM. Another item, which, I think we kind of touched on a little bit was Stacy and her team really recognized early that they had a lot of untapped potential within their data and had a really good idea of what they wanted out of a project before it even started. So, and what they wanted out of their PIM. So they have some aggressive goals to leverage all that kind of untapped potential and the integrations with the other systems. Just in general, there's just a lot to take on there. So, through each of those systems, we take a good look and see what the best way to integrate those with those are. There's a lot of different ways we can do it. API-based, file-based. We can get creative with some middleware. There's a lot of different ways we can go about looking at those integrations. So, we did several cycles with that as we went into implementation. And then, really with the onboarding of any new system, whether that be PIM or anything else, it really requires a period of transition, right? To give the people who are going to be working on it, to really give them time to get familiar with the new features and functionalities of that new system. In a lot of these cases, PIM is being brought into organizations to improve the processes that have been there for a really long time. And over a lot of years, they build up to this this process that it works, but it's not quite as efficient as it needs to be. So, part of what we did too, which is kind of always a challenge, is focusing on that operational readiness within the organizations that we're working with, and making sure that we're training and catering to the specific roles and responsibilities of the people who are going to be working in this thing day to day. So we run a number of cycles with that, and are still working with Stacy and the team to make sure that adoption is where it needs to be.
So Stacy, what are some of the key benefits that you're hoping to gain with this new inRiver PIM system?
So I think first and foremost, and I said it before, was scalability. Because we're a growing organization, because we are global, multiple languages, multiple brands, multiple product lines, that was really the biggest differentiator when we first selected inRiver. But then just the evolution of PIM and the efficiency and automation, we were currently using manual processes. We needed intermediary connectors. It just was incredibly tedious. And now it's created a much more efficient environment that suits all of our different personas that are in the system, whether it's view only and our product team, as well as our customer care team and our digital team. So making sure that everybody has access, everybody plays their role, everybody has a checkpoint throughout the process. It has taken a previous outdated system into a much more efficient environment.
And how these new capabilities, like you say, scalability for one, how will that help you and your channel partners moving forward?
So I would say in our previous legacy system, one of the biggest challenges we had was the ability to deliver product content to our channel partners. So with syndication and templates, we're able to update content consistently and more efficiently, and it's saving us a tremendous amount of time and resources.
So do you have any words of wisdom for other organizations before they implement inRiver, or?
Yeah, just do your research. I mean, every business use case is totally different. There's lots of products out there that tout syndication is what we learned, but they're not truly a PIM solution. And then vice versa, they may be able to manage your product data, but they're going to struggle to make that content accessible to channel partners, as I said. So that for me is the biggest deal, is based on your use case. And for us, it was the scalability, it was a flexible data model, and it really needed to have syndication and templates for our channel partners. And so I would just say those items, if that's important to you, then inRiver is a great solution, but be sure to do your research and know what you're getting.
So closing this up, Ritesh, Keith, Stacy, what would be your if you're closing this session with some words of wisdom?
Thanks, Mats. I'll take a stab at it and let the team jump into. I just wanted to compliment Stacy first for that statement too, because I couldn't have said it better. Research is key. We can't jump into initiatives like this with quick thought or trying to get it up and running in a matter of a few weeks, right? To me, it's a two-part conversation. One is what Stacy said, which is, as a business, know what you want to get out of a PIM solution and do the research. And then the second piece is sort of wearing our implementer or strategy hat, is saying, once the platform is, the platform's going to do what you want it to do, platform selected. The second piece of it is understand where your product data is today. And then at the tail end of this whole initiative, make sure we put in enough time to enable the organization. So that would be my piece of advice, that do not think of PIM as, hey, I implemented a software and I'm done. It certainly is, inRiver is certainly great for us to be easily search, easily navigate, and it is very user-friendly. But within the organization, definitely make time to train and educate and roll it out. So that would be my take.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that sentiment, Ritesh. I mean, when you're dealing with any size organizations with the complexity of data like a Werner has, it's really important to set those goals early on, get to know, what kind of customizations, if any, or what you want that data to do, or what you want that program to be able to accomplish for you, right? To set those goals early on, have a good understanding with both teams around what that's going to take to get to that point, right? Because it's not as easy as plug and play. You really don't want to leave anything behind, because the data in PIM really does touch so many other things, and you want to make sure you're not leaving anything out or forgetting anything, right? And then have that strategy to kind of build on top of that foundational piece that you put in place.
Stacy, do you want to add something to this?
No, I'm going to stick with my final answer of research, because it was a pretty lengthy process for us in order to determine who was our partner, and then who was going to be, well, let me say who was our PIM solution, and then who was our implementation partner. So, and it took a lot of research and recommendations, and truly understanding, as Keith said, our business model. I mean, what we needed to integrate isn't simple by any means. So it definitely, do your research, take your time, and make sure you find the solution for you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be on PIMpoint Digital. Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Stacy. And with that, I'm thanking everybody who watched this. Thank you. Bye-bye.